Once upon a time. In the crowded, noisy heart of Makoko Market, a place known for its vibrant colors, bustling traders, and endless stalls, there was one food canteen that every vendor, buyer, and child talked about, Madame Victoria. This humble canteen, marked by its old wooden sign and smoky kitchen, was always filled with customers who came to feast on her famous African delicacy. People would line up for hours, and even when her prices rose, her customers remained loyal, unable to resist her food. Madame Victoria was an unassuming woman. She wore simple clothes, a wrapper around her waist, and a scarf tied tightly over her hair. Her voice was soft, and she greeted each customer with a warm smile, wishing them well as they devoured her dishes. Other food vendors, however, couldn't understand how her canteen was always full when their own tables remained nearly empty. Her food was good, yes, but everyone knew there was something else, something irresistible, about her cooking. Vendors tried to imitate her recipes, customers tried to ask her for cooking tips, but no one could recreate the magic in her dishes. Some believed Madame Victoria used a rare spice or secret ingredient, while others claimed she knew techniques from far-off lands. Despite the admiration, a sense of unease started growing in the market. Some began to whisper, she must be using juju, a magic charm that bound people to her food. One evening, after weeks of watching her friends change, a young woman named Amora, a nearby fruit seller, decided to investigate. Amara had seen strange things happen to those who ate at Madame Victoria's canteen too often. They became almost addicted, coming back every day, spending every last coin, and soon losing their usual cheerful spirits. Her friends would grow quiet, almost dazed, after their meals, staring off into space as if lost in a dream. At first, Amara thought it was just a coincidence, but as time went on, she noticed more and more people affected in the same way. Determined to find the truth, Amora hid nearby, waiting until Madame Victoria closed her canteen and the market emptied. As the stars began to light the sky, Madame Victoria finally finished her work, locking her money box and cleaning her store. But instead of packing up and leaving, she did something strange. She knelt beside her giant cooking pot, the one where she made her famous pepper soup, and began muttering under her breath. Amora crept closer, holding her breath, trying not to make a sound. To Amora's horror, Madame Victoria began pulling out small, handmade figurines from a hidden sack. Each doll was wrapped in a thread or a small piece of cloth that looked too familiar, a fragment from her customer's clothes, a strand of hair, or even a button. She dropped each doll into her pot with a low, murmured incantation, her voice barely above a whisper. The pot bubbled and hissed as though it were alive, absorbing each doll in a thick, oily mist. Madame Victoria's voice grew stronger as she added the last doll, sealing the spell. Realization hit Amora. Madame Victoria was binding her customers' spirits to her food, ensuring they would crave it endlessly, returning to her stall day after day without understanding why. Shaken, Amora stumbled back to her stall, her mind racing. She knew she couldn't keep this secret to herself. The next morning, she went to her friends in the market, sharing what she had witnessed in hurried whispers. Word spread like wildfire, and the market vendors, once admiring Madame Victoria, began looking at her with suspicion and fear. When Madame Victoria opened her canteen that day, she noticed her usual crowd was missing. Instead, people were gathered in small groups, muttering and casting wary glances her way. Only a few dared to approach, and even they left quickly, refusing to meet her eyes. Madame Victoria's face grew tense as she realized the rumors had spread, her secret had been uncovered. Her warm smile faded, replaced by an expression of steely anger. As the days passed, her canteen grew emptier. The people of Makoko Market, once enchanted by her food, began to avoid her stall altogether. Some claimed they heard her muttering curses under her breath, while others said she'd cast a bitter glare at Amora and those who had spread the word. Madame Victoria's canteen, once the center of the market, became an eerie, abandoned place, a reminder of the price paid for secrets kept too long. One night, after the market had closed, Amora heard a strange voice outside her store. Madame Victoria stood there, her face half hidden in shadow. "Be careful of the stones you cast, girl," she whispered, her voice filled with an unsettling calm. "Some secrets should remain hidden." Amora shivered but remained silent, watching as Madame Victoria disappeared into the night. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening around the market. Stalls were mysteriously vandalized, items went missing, and Amora noticed scratches on her door. Some of the vendors believed it was Madame Victoria's revenge, while others felt the eerie presence of something darker left behind from her spells. In time, Madame Victoria's canteen shut down for good. The stories of her food, her charms, and her strange dolls became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the power that secrets could hold. And though people still whispered her name in fear, no one dared ask her to return. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe for more amazing and captivating African story. Love, Awa.